full screen. Okay. So, dear friend, today, as you know, we have already introduced Professor Shachi in the last session, and means when she was taking class in the last session. So I don't think so. We require another introduction about her. But for the new students who joined recently, means in the sense that with which after getting that database, updated database from the concerned division, we have another 30 more members. They have been added in the last 2 days. So Professor Shachi Shah, before she joined IGNOU, she more than 10-year teaching experience at University of Science Technology, Agricultural Science and Technology, GBPAN University of Agriculture Science Technology. Now she is a director, School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Study, IGNOU. She is taking key roles in promoting this sustainability science program across the country. So with this, I would like to request Madam to start this session. Please, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you, Kumanji, for a very kind introduction. Today, I'm going to take the session on sustainable technology. So in this session, we will cover what is sustainable technology or what is green technology. What is the need for these kind of technology? What are the aims? And how these sustainable technology are going to help in achieving sustainable development goals. So before starting the session, I would like to ask a question to you all that before 20 years, if you see yourself before 20 years, how you think the life was or how the technology was. When I think about myself, when I was before 20 years, for any communication, we used to depend upon the telex machine or fax machine. For any information, we used to send the fax and we used to wait for the answer to get the our answer. Likewise, there were many technology. This is about communication. That time there was no mobile phones, only landlines were available. I was talking about the communication technology. If I talk about the education, as we all are talking about the education, now when we see the education technology, especially if you see during this pandemic time, it has evolved. The technology has helped us a lot. The virtual classes which we are attending, the kind of resources we can share, the link, the software, the hardware, and so many things. It has evolutionized. The technology has evolutionized. These are the paradigm shift which has taken place few 10 years before. The education has become so much dependent on technology. Same way, there are many fields. If we talk about the technology, if we talk about in the field of agriculture, we talk about in the field of health, we talk about in the field of any field you take, industrial evolution, or any evolution, technology has played a very important role. I was going through an article recently on if we see that daily we wait for some kind of new technology which are coming. If we talk about the mobile, if we talk about iPhone, Apple mobile, the technology is evolving. Same way, last session we were discussing about the desalinization of water. I was going through an article where in Arab Emirat, they are country, because there are very less water, groundwater is very less, only 10 days in a year they have rainfall, and they have very less drinking water. So desalinization process takes place very frequently, and it is a very common method by which they are getting the water. The other method which they are using is cloud seeding. I was reading about the cloud seeding. They are continuously, what they are doing is that what they are through aeroplane in the cloud, they are putting the salt, and the salt is resulting into the artificial rain. This artificial rain, instead of going into the water, they are collecting in a water pond or in a reservoir. This fresh water, this rainwater, which is free from saline, they are using it for their drinking purposes. Likewise in Netherlands, When we talk about the agriculture, we know that the one of the SDG also is that food security. The land is limited, but the population is continuously increasing. If we wanted to feed the continuously growing population in that limited land, so we need to find out certain technology by which we can feed the people. If you see the lifestyle of mostly European or American, you see they depend upon the meats, poultry, or non-vegetarian. If in that way the use of food habits are going on, one day will come when the entire land has to be converted, entire habitable land has to be converted for food production. So in Netherlands, they are having high-tech agriculture, high-tech greenhouse agriculture, where everything is automized. We have now, if you talk about artificial intelligence, now everything is managed by artificial intelligence, whether it is climate, whether the amount of pesticide is required, what are the quality of nutrient, what are the pests, even through drone. They are monitoring the pests which are attacking the field. The climate is, everything is automatized in that greenhouse, green high-tech greenhouse. So this is the technology where, for example, growing the tomatoes, the field is required. If it is the kind of field which is required, in the same 1 square meter they are growing the tomato, whether it is potato, whether it is cucumber, pearl, and so many fruits. So this is also one of the technology which has evolutionized the our environment. Same way, if we see in the field of energy, we know that the climate is the most talked about topic, or most talked global phenomena. Wherever SDG is concerned, we are talking about the renewable source of energy, we are talking about the clean energy, alternate energy. So these fossil fuel which are creating so much of greenhouse gas emission, climate change, air pollution, and so forth. So we are using, there are many technologies through which we can develop the alternate source of energy, whether it is solar panel, whether it is photovoltaic cell, wind energy, geothermal energy, and so on, biomass energy, or you can say that biodiesel, hydrogen fuel, so many things. So energy, sustainable technology or technology has also revolutionized the energy requirement field also. Same way, if you talk about the waste management, we know that with increasing population we are developing equally the amount of waste which is like geo paradising our environment, which is affecting our health, which are causing so much of health problem. It is toxic, whether it is in the form of heavy metal, whether it is in the form of plastic, which microplastic are coming now with the evolution of technology. Different nanomaterials are coming into the environment. So there are many technologies which are resulting into the waste management, and whether it is composting, biomethanation, waste to energy plant, we are generating energy from the energy from the waste, so on and so forth. So what in nutshell I wanted to say is that there are number of technologies which has been developed, and these technologies are we can say these are very of immense importance as far as human life and our well-being are concerned. But talking about sustainable development, we know that 2030 agenda of sustainable development, it talks about the planet, people, and prosperity. So whatever the technology is, it is for the well-being of the people. Basically, in the Corona time, when we say well-being, the first focus is in health. When we talk about the health, now also we are looking for the technology which can, by which we can detect the coronavirus, by which we can treat the virus. There are development of the vaccine. So people are working, all the medical sciences, health sciences, they are working for finding out the technology by which we can tackle this virus. When we say about the sustainable development goal, eradicate poverty and hunger and longevity, control of epidemics, all these are the thing when we talk about the well-being. The second well-being is also, we say that everybody should have what we say, life security. Everybody should have livelihood earning opportunity. Everybody should have a healthy environment. This is the people's well-being. Second is planet. Planet, when we talk about, it is about environmental sustainability. It is about the clean environment. It is about the environment which, when we talk about sustainable development, it is the development, it is the, that not only it fulfill the need of the present generation, but also has the ability to fulfill the future generation also. So same way the technology which are environment friendly. And third one, we talk about prosperity, that is growth, that is economics. Now what we say is that for development of any country, these economic prosperity is required. So all these technology, when we say these technology are, have immense potential to achieve the sustainable development goal. The drivers for these technology, if we talk about what are the things which are driving for this technology, one thing I will say that personal well-being. Second thing is that the planet, the well-being of the planet. And third is quest for prosperity. We wanted to design the product, process, business model for the prosperity. So these three things drive the technology quest, or the new technology. Like that, when we talk about the technology, earlier there were many technology, whether it is related to DNA sequencing, cloning, or whether artificial intelligence, biodegradable plastic, renewable energy, so on and so forth. So in this session we will talk about the technology which are sustainable. In the many of the technology which we use now, they are good technology, but whether these are sustainable or not, whether these technology, they, though they help us in achieving the different sustainable development goal, but whether these are sustainable technology or not. In the coming session we will discuss what are the sustainable technologies, what is the aim of sustainable technology, what are the criteria by which we can say that this technology is sustainable or not, or whether a technology will be long term beneficial to this generation and also for the next generation as well. So coming to the first slide, when we say about sustainable technology, sustainable technology is a technology which improves our societal and environmental footprint at every stage of the product life, from raw material extraction to the end of life. So any technology, we know that there are three pillars. Till now we have learned many times that there are three pillars of the sustainable development. We say that environment, economic, and social society. So any technology which improves, which strengthen these three pillars, whether it is society aspect, whether it is environmental aspect and economic aspect, is a sustainable technology, provided they it in every stage of its life, whether it is from cradle to cradle. Earlier we used to say from cradle to grave, now we say that cradle to cradle, or we say that life cycle assessment from the every stage of product life, whether what are the raw material is being used, what is the process being used, what are the extraction process, each and everything, and up to the end. These technologies are called sustainable technology, which improve the environmental footprint. When we say environmental footprint, we know that there are carbon footprint, water footprint, energy footprint, and so on and so forth. All these footprint affects the environment, and our aim is how to reduce the environmental footprint. Coming the concept, to elaborate the concept of sustainable technology, I can say that sustainable technology is an integrated system of technology, and it has certain aims. It ensures a judicious use of the resources. Whenever we say that technology, whenever we say that natural resources, there are number of resources which are being used for any technology, whether whether it is water, whether it is any raw material, or uh, any resource which it is used, it should have a judicious use. Second, it takes the maximum assistance of natural processes wherever possible. because we know that whenever we talk about the natural processes, the emission will be less, the pollution will be less, the hazardous substance will be less, and the environmental sustainability can be maintained. Then third is it take care of ecological integrity, our ecology. There are number of ecological processes which are going on Earth. If we take natural ecological processes, if we take about any process, for example biogeochemical cycle, for example there are different processes, water cycle, and so on and so forth. Different ecological cycles, ecological processes are going on. So these technologies should not affect in any way our ecological integrity. It should create least disturbances into environmental component, whether it is air, whether it is water, whether it is soil, or any other component. This technology should affect or it should disturb in a minimum way, and it should evenly distribute service and products in the society. Here I will say that when we are talking about artificial intelligence, like any technology, there are plus and there are minus. When we talk about robotics nowadays, that everything is becoming robots are made, or robotics, artificial intelligence is taking care of everything. So in a way it is good, but at the same time, because of this robotics, the use of manpower is less, the peoples are losing their livelihood security. Few people are becoming rich and richer, but the few people are losing their job, and they are not, it is not equally distributed. So it's just an example. So any technology, when we talk about the sustainable technology, it should be evenly distributed services and product in the society. Each and every person should be benefited by the one way or other. It should be benefited to each and every person in the society, and it should respect the ethical and cultural consideration of all life form. All life form means we are sharing this earth with millions of organism, millions of living beings, whether there are different type of trees, different type of plants, different type of microorganism, different type of insect. So there should be a consideration for all life form. For example, I will say that when I was talking about 20 years back, there were many environmental movements that time were going on. You might all have heard about the Chipko movement. It was long back, but that time it was Terry Dam, where the hydroelectric power dam, which was built in one of the biggest dam. It was built, and there were so many forests were there were deforestation activity took place. Many hundreds of villagers were rehabilitated, they were removed from their area, and there were so many environmental consequences. Beside that, the large dam, the large reservoir, because it is a very big dam, so the large reservoir which can cause a different type of seismic activity which is related to this dam. Still these zones are sensitive zone, so these were the technology, but the how much is the benefit or consequences or the environmental positive aspect of all this type of technology. Same way that time Narmada Bachao Andolan, Mida Patkar, we all know. So now what I wanted to say that whenever we are talking about, I'm not saying that these technology are not good. I'm not saying whenever these hydropower plant, when they are providing us electricity, these are the immense importance for us. There are number of millions of people who are living in the area where there is no electricity. We are fortunate enough that we are living in an area where we are having not only electricity, we are having the internet connection and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that these technology are bad, but whenever we talk about the sustainable technology, these are the criteria we should keep in mind, that we should respect an ethical and cultural consideration of all life forms. When we talk about sustainable technology, the sustainable technologies should use durable, low maintenance, recyclable, and economic materials. Here, it's just an example. Again, I will say that I'm not. It's not that the every time there is a change of something, any technology, whenever it is developed, We use it, and after some time we come to know the after effect of that, or the negative side of it, and then again through certain scientific research or technological research or technological innovation, we try to remove the drawback. For example, when I'm saying about the solar power, in US, if you see, there are solar farms. There are acres of area where there are having solar farm. They are the energy, solar energy is being produced over there. It is stored in the lead batteries. There are acres of the farm where this lead batteries or the batteries where the solar power is generated is stored and kept. So these, the solar power is being used because one of the drawback of wind energy and solar energy is that it cannot be transported. We need to store it, and it is not continuous. So these solar power is providing the energy to millions of the people. In India also, we have International Solar Alliance, where we know that there are many areas where we are using the solar power plants and solar panels, photovoltaic cell. So these should be durable, low maintenance, recyclable, and economic material. But now we know that there are certain drawbacks as far as environment is concerned, that these batteries are hazardous in nature. So the large amount of batteries which we are using, after it's used, it is where to dispose it. This is one of the problems. So any technology, if it is recyclable, like if the batteries which are being used can be recycled, or the technology can be developed by which this energy can be used, is one will be the one of the very good technology, where through this we can meet the sustainable development goal 7. I think it is 7 when we talk about the renewable. The aim is to increase the sharing of the renewable energy. The second thing, including material and technology that can be locally sourced to reduce transportation cost. The thing, whatever technology is there, it should be that whatever the material which we are using, it should be locally produced, so that the transportation cost or other thing can be reduced. Here again, I would like to give an example of like we are using mobile phones, we are using laptop, ipad, and so many gadgets we are using. So all these gadgets, if you see, the common thing is that these are made up of Re, that is rare elements, rare earth elements. These rare earth elements are found, as a name indicate, these are found inside the earth crust. And it is not that all are found together. We have to extract it, we have to find it, and we have to use it judiciously. So, but we are using every time, if you see that new mobile is being launched, every 6 months or 1 year or 2 year we are getting the new mobile. What we are doing, that the old mobile either we are giving to our younger brother, younger sister, or maid, or we are discarding it. So the amount of heavy metal which are being used is not recycled. The second thing, these are hazardous. They are released into the environment. They are causing the different kind of health problem, to either it is going to water, it is going the biomagnification, so on and so forth. So the material and technology, it could be locally sourced, and it should reduce the transportation cost. Should be incorporated into sustainable design practices for product technology, and it should reduce the product life cycle environmental impact, as I said, to Gradle, from beginning, from its manufacturing, its early state to its disposal state. It should reduce the environmental impact. Any technology which have least environmental impact, which have minimum environmental impact, whether it is in terms of emission of gases, whether it is in terms of discharge of water, whether it is in terms of use of water, whether it is in terms of waste production, or any other matter which have least environmental impact, will be called as a sustainable technology. So, few of the technology I have given you the example. Few I can say that these technology are, there are number of technology. You can in discussion also you can say many of the technology, but few technology which use of sustainable material, like for example biodegradable plastic or recyclable metals. Plastic, we know it has become the menace of this century. We from oceans to any river to land, we know it is creating havoc. This microplastic, it is found in even milk, it is even found in water. We have several newspaper clipping you might have seen about the ocean animal dying because of this plastic. Even in the whale, the full belly was full of 20-30 kg of plastic. So in that, when we say about biodegradable plastic, the plastic which can be biodegradable, which can be recycled, can be reused, is also one of the example. Same way, recyclable material, metals, if we can recycle the metals and again can be used. The renewable energy source, whether it is solar, whether it is wind energy, green energy, or any form of energy, geothermal energy, all kind of energy, renewable and clean energy, which we say clean energy, these are the renewable energy sources. All the product which are having energy efficiency, which are having any kind of environmental less impact, are called as sustainable technology. For example, I've told you that we are adopting the life cycle approach, where the total environmental impact can be reduced from the raw material to production to distribution to consumer, and until up to its disposal. So from to product to disposal. So I'll give you an example, like nuclear power energy. Nuclear energy, we say that nuclear energy, will you say it a sustainable technology? Because the nuclear, it is a technology which through which we are getting like you all know the type of energy nuclear power plant we are running. It is also a technology which is helpful in producing atomic energy, atomic bomb, and so on and so forth, but we'll not call it a sustainable technology. Why we will not call it a sustainable technology? Because the kind of waste which is produced by nuclear power plant, the waste which is produced, it is a radioactive waste. So if we can reduce or we can reuse this kind of waste again for certain other technology, so we are reducing the environmental impact in any of the design process or any of the raw material production, distribution, consumer, and up to disposal process, that will cause a renewable technology. Here also, when we talk about the sustainable technology, number of things comes into the mind. Like for example, sustainable fashion. I was reading something sustainable fashion. What is that sustainable fashion? That the kind of dress we are using cotton shirt, we are using jeans. If you see the footprint of this kind of cloth, the artificial polymers, the kind of fossil fuel is being used, synthetic fiber is used, the kind of amount of water it is being used. So ultimately, these are not sustainable. Talking about coffee, have you any idea that if you are taking 1 cup of coffee, how much amount of water is being used? We may think about 10 liter, we can say about 20 liter, but to your amazement and mine also, that for 1 cup of coffee we are using 150 liters of water. So you can think about the kind of water we are using, the kind of fossil fuel we are using, the kind of energy consumption, and after that how much amount is being wasted. So we will not call it this sustainable technology. We will not call it these technologies are going to be very beneficial in our long term. So we have to now move to into environmental friendly technology, eco-friendly technology, or in a way green technology. We are nowadays saying green. Not nowadays. There are green growth, green economy, green development, and everything means that eco-friendly, that take cares of all the pillar of sustainable development, not only the economic aspect, not only the economic growth, but also the environment and the society. So coming to the green technology, when we talk about the green technology is any process, any product, or any service that reduce the negative environmental impact while protecting human health and ecosystem quality. So there are many characteristics of the green technology, but to quote few or to say few, that it should have high efficiency energy and resource use. Whatever energy is being used or whatever resource is being used, they should be highly efficient. There should not be any wastage of energy or resources. We know that natural resources are of immense importance. They are exhaustible or inexhaustible. For example, if we talk about fossil fuel, we are having a limited stock of fossil fuel. Besides that, those fossil fuel are also not environmental friendly. So when we talk about the resources, besides that, there are many raw material. Whenever we talk about sustainable consumption, sustainable production, the different raw material which are used, it should be very efficient. They should use all these technologies should use all the resources very efficiently. It should be a low cost. The cost should be less. It should not generate secondary pollutant. For example, in agriculture, when we talk about you all may have read about the green revolution, then it is shifted to evergreen revolution. The main aim was to provide the food security. So for food security, there are indiscriminate use of pesticides, fertilizer, which are causing environmental pollution. It is going to our water, it is causing eutrophication, and so on and so forth. So for that, we have the agriculture scientists have developed different technology, which are low cost technology, which is being used from local adapted resources. You take the example, either you take the example of biofertilizer, biopesticides, mushroom production, and these different type of species which are like trichoderma or rhizobium, any species which are being used as a source of pesticide or as a fertilizer. Or there are many other methods, indigenous method, traditional method, which are of low cost, and also they do not generate secondary pollutant. And then fourth is use of renewable energy or material which can be recycled, which can be renewed, or which are environmental friendly. There are number of as we have discussed, why we are talking about the green technology or environmental friendly technology or eco-friendly technology or sustainable technology or any other technology. When we talk about environment, there are number of issues, and these issues are aggravating, or these issues are increasing day by day because of our lifestyle, because of our use of different type of product, or because of use of different type of activity. For example, we all are talking about the climate change. We know the reason of climate change, why it is happening, and how it is affecting. So we need a technology through which we can mitigate the climate change effect, or we can adapt to the climate change. Like I was here, because we are talking about climate change, there are technology which is being developed by the geoengineering and geoengineers or geoscientists, that they are inside the earth's surface. We know that the carbon dioxide, it can be trapped or it can be used for certain other purpose. We know about the carbon sequestration, we know about the carbon credit, and so on. So all these technology, they are being developed to address the problem of climate change. Then increasing energy and resource demands. We know that for everything we require energy, so we need to fulfill our energy requirement, and the resource which we demand for our growth, for our economic prosperities, etc. And then the third aspect which require to address the is as far as sustainable technology is waste management. We know that any technology, if it is creating the waste, if it is spoiling, if it is polluting the environment, it is not a sustainable technology. The large amount of industrial processes, they use water, which the water, if it is not recycled, reused, or reutilized, if the number of hazardous substance are more in this water, then there is no use of this kind of technology. Though it is giving the benefits, but if it is polluting the environment, if it is not addressing the problem of waste management, then the technology is not sustainable technology. So any technology, it should be efficient, it should have energy efficiency, it should have resource efficiency, it should avoid the environmental degradation, it should not spoil the environment, it should improve the air quality, it should improve the environmental quality, it should work for human welfare, social equity, and it should address the risk of resource scarcity. So in nutshell, it should cover the aspect which are of paramount importance to achieve the sustainable development goal. All the sustainable development goal, the 17 sustainable development goal which we talk about, which are for planet, people, planet, and prosperity, they all address these issues, whether to from remove for poverty eradication, to fulfill the to achieve the food security, to provide the renewable resources, clean technology, or provide equity, gender, education to everyone. So all these things can be, all these issues can be addressed through the use of sustainable technology or green technologies. As I've told, there are a number of areas through which these sustainable technology can be used. We were talking about green agriculture. So agriculture is one of the area where these technology can be very well used. Sustainable technology, like for example, the areas where there is water deficiency. So in that area, the efficient use of water can be, the technology can be used, like I was saying that this artificial intelligence, it can be used for the kind of pesticides the crop required, the kind of nutrient it required, to increase the fortify the crop also, to increase the soil nutrient, to maintain the environment, to find it out the kind of insects these are affecting. So agriculture is one of the area where, from sowing to harvesting, and from maintaining the soil fertility, environment, water, energy, everything, this green technology are the need of the hour. Then tourism, we are talking about sustainable tourism. Again, the tourism, these there are number of vehicle. I'll say about the vehicles now. When we talk about tourism, it's not, sustainable tourism is not about vehicle, but electrical vehicle. There are number of vehicle which mostly which we use the vehicle, they depend upon the internal combustion of engine. And then now there are electrical vehicle. The electrical vehicles, they are very good in sense that as far as environmental emissions are concerned, as far as greenhouse gases emission are concerned, as far as climate change is concerned, these electrical vehicle, and mostly they are used in Europe, America, and other countries, they are very good. So to reduce the emissions, to reduce the greenhouse gases, different type of sustainable technologies are required in the area of tourism also, where the any area is concerned. Then building, green building, we all know we are talking about the sustainable building, green building. And there is one SDT also related to sustainable cities. So the building, from green building, from the use of natural resources, locally made resources, less energy input, energy efficient, all these sustainable technology can be used for the green building or the building or infrastructure development. Then energy infrastructure, we know that any kind of energy, solar energy, biomass energy, biomethanation is used from waste. From incineration, there is energy is being produced, or geothermal energy, biomass energy, biodiesel, etc. All these are type of new alternative energy or renewable energy. These are the areas where we need, where the sustainable technology need to be developed, so that the environmental impact of all these kind of resource use can be reduced. Then water treatment, we know that water is of immense importance. We were talking about last time also, centralized water treatment or decentralized water treatment. So if the water which is being used can be recycled, can be reduced, can be recycled, can be reused, the technology which are more efficient for all these are the area where the sustainable technology need to be developed. Then various type of smart technologies. We are talking about smart classes. We are talking about smart educational technology. Any technology which is environmental friendly, which is not affecting environment, which is for benefit of consumer, which are using less resources, which is efficient, are the areas where this technology can be developed. Then waste treatment. And the food, water, energy, land nexus, to improve all these things, to for the circular bioeconomy where the waste can be used, reduced, reused, and recycled, the sustainable technologies are required. We have discussed the areas where these sustainable technologies are required. One area we can say that air pollution, because of use of fossil fuel, because of use of various type of industrial processes, because of thermal power plant or any other industrial processes, there are air is polluting, and we are seeing the effect of air pollution. So we need the technological solution that increase the efficiency of energy supply, energy use, and our dependence on the fossil fuel can be reduced. The renewable energy, as I've told you, the green power, green energy, clean energy, or any form of energy which is environmental friendly, which can be renewed, whether it is wind, solar, geothermal, hydropower, biomass, and so on and so forth. Then green building design, which include the efficient equipment, natural resources, energy efficient technology, and any of the activity which can be helpful in for the environment. And then recycling and waste management, how we can reduce the waste, how can we can reuse the waste, how can we use this waste as for the valorization, for making the value added product. For example, the agriculture waste which is being produced, it can be used for composting, it can be used for the production of electricity, or it can be used for any other purposes, for nutraceutical, for pharmaceutical, for any chemical, and so on and so forth. Then infrastructure, whether it is for communication, whether it is for transportation, there are many areas, there are many technology which are required so that the cost can be reduced and environmental impact also can be reduced. Then water, we know that water is elixir of life. We know that the most of the our activities are polluting the water. So we need the technology where the minimum amount of water is being used. Whatever water is being used, it should not be pollute the environment. It should be reused, recycled, and it can be again used for our purposes. Then product design and manufacturing, there should be a way. Everything whenever we talk about reduce, reuse, and reduce, reuse, and recycle. Whatever material we are using, it can be reduced, reuse, or recycle. So when we talk about the sustainable technology, there are different aspects. The first thing is sustainable manufacturing. So whenever we are manufacturing a product, whenever we are designing a product or manufacturing a product, we should take care that it should use minimum amount of energy and minimum water use. The generation of water, which is through this process or this process manufacturing, the kind of water which is generated, it can be reduced and the water can be reused. The emission, any technology, it emit the various type of gases, it should be reduced, and noise, orders, and other logistics should be taken care of when we talk about these areas should be taken care of when we talk about sustainable manufacturing. Then sustainable product design and use. The any product when it is manufactured, the product design and use, there are certain sustainability aspects which need to be taken care of. For example, we should substitute recycled or renewable material for non-renewable material. Because when we talk about the recycled or renewable material, it will reduce the cost and it will also make more attractive product. Then reducing hazardous substance in product, it lowers the cost of monitoring, treatment, and disposal and make them appear to be safer and more desirable to consumer. Then lowering the energy requirement for product, reduce the cost of use, improve product desirability, and anticipate regulatory requirement and future standard. And then fourth, improving product durability, lessen the need for non-renewable materials and product value. So here, what I wanted to say, one thing. I just wanted to add one thing, that nowadays we all are becoming more aware about our environmental impact. But the fact is that because of certain policy or because of certain regulatory framework or because lack of it, we don't know the product is sustainable or not. So in my opinion, I mean, like, what I think is that for any product, the government should make it mandatory that in every product, it should give the kind of environmental impact it is having and the kind of water it is being, or any other resource which is used or which is used should be mentioned in the label. Like any product, we read that this much energy, this much calorie, this much sugar, this much. So now an expiry. So now we are conscious. First of all, we look for the expiry date. Okay, this is expired, so we will not use it. We know that. Then we go for the calorie requirement. We are becoming the health conscious also. So we look at the kind of sugar. Okay, this much sugar. The juices should not be used. Artificial sweetener is there. The cold drink should not be used because these are not good for health. So all kind of things are there. But the footprint, environmental footprint a product is having, that is not mentioned. So whenever we talk about a sustainable technology, or whenever we talk about the sustainable manufacturing of product or use, in my opinion, the environmental impact or environmental footprint of that product should also be given if we wanted to make a more sustainable society or environmental conscious society. These are the key indicator. Mostly these deals with the recycling of the material, renewable material, etc. I'll skip that. Then coming to the life cycle assessment, I was talking about that sustainable technology is a technology which have a cradle to cradle approach, or which we see that the whole life cycle we should not we should see from getting the raw material, from its process design, from its manufacturing process, and ultimately the way we dispose it, it should be a sustainable win. So this life cycle assessment tool, or LCA, is a tool to evaluate the environmental impact of a product or technologies across their entire lifetime, whether from extraction of raw material to end of life, or we can say disposal or recycling. So it is a scientific method of calculating the environmental impacts of product over their life. It includes getting raw material, whether it is a metal or any other agriculture material out of the ground. It making the basic products, whether it is metal, plastic, or any other raw material, then making them into consumer good, using them, and finally throwing them into landfill or recycling. So this life cycle assessment, initially it was for, it is a very common method now. Earlier, it was used for certain specific aspects, but now life cycle assessment is used for almost all the product and technology if we talk about the sustainable technology. Here, just I wanted to give an example. If we talk about the technology, so this shows that which cup you think it is best for our environment: foam, plastic, china, or glass, or paper. When we talk about the assessment, when we talk about whether the cup, whether any product or any technology is good, not only the end result, but from beginning, from manufacturing to disposal, we need to take care of each and every aspect. How much, if we see the environmental impact, how much energy is conserved, how much water is conserved, how much waste to energy is conversion is required, then what is the recyclability, landfill, whether it is contaminating or not, whether it is emitting any air pollutant or any other emission when it is incinerated, whether it is impact our ozone layer, whether it is its price also. So many, besides that, many other criteria is being used here. Like if we talk about the foam plastic, energy conservation is high, water conservation is excellent, waste to energy conversion is excellent, recyclability is total, landfill contaminants is none, air pollutant none, impact on ozone layer positive because it contains no CFC, and relative pocketbook impact is low. So in a way, if we see the life cycle assessment, or in a way, if we see that the foam plastic, we'll say that it is best in a way, not in every time, but it is good as far as, sorry, it is not good, because these are waste to energy conversion is excellent. If you see paper required high energy to run mills, so these are better than foam plastic, are better than paper or better than china glass. I was talking about life cycle assessment, cradle to cradle, which earlier we used to say cradle to grave, but now we say cradle to cradle, from beginning to end, from manufacturing, starting manufacturing to disposal. So this cradle to cradle approach was developed by Brogant and Mapbook. It is a beneficial design approach which integrates multiple attributes, includes safe material, continuous reclamation and reuse of material, clean water, renewable energy, and social fairness. And it aims to set a positive course for the product and process design and development in a way that will allow natural and technical system, product and processes to support the diverse living population on earth. So if we talk about the principle of cradle to cradle, first thing is elimination of the concept of waste. It focus on the reduction of the waste, and second is using renewable energy, whether the energy is any form, whether it is solar, wind, hydropower, biomass, wood, or any other, but geothermal, hydrogen fuel. So renewable energy. There are number of categories which has been identified in cradle to cradle approach: material health, renewable energy and carbon management, water stewardship, and social fairness. Beside that, the material health, we are saying that whatever material we are using, it should not have any hazardous material. It should be easily available. It should be environmental friendly. Material can be reutilized. It can be reused. And so the goal is to improve the product design for recyclability, or it should be compostability. Then it should use the renewable energy. Every time we are talking about the renewable energy, because these are the energy which are basically called clean energy, these are called green energy, these are environmental friendly energy. And by using these kind of energy, the environment can be saved. These are more energy efficient, they are more ecosystem friendly, and they are, in a way, the product is considered to be green. Then water stewardship. Water is very important, as we have already discussed, from withdrawal, consumption, release. It should not affect the ecology of the nearby area. It should not affect the ecosystem. It should not affect the anyway the quality or the discharge of the quality of the water should be monitored. Then social fairness, that it should be a measure that the product, it should have an impact on people, community, and it should ensure that the manufacturer are engaged in sustainable business operations. Everything should be sustainable. So there are, if we talk about design, we have talked about manufacture, we have talked about use. When we talk about design of sustainability, here I would like to just mention about the principle of green chemistry. So whenever we are talking about sustainability, these green chemistry principles should be considered. For research and development, there are 12 principles of green chemistry: the waste prevention, atom economy, synthesis with less hazardous chemical, design of safer chemicals, use of safer solvent and auxiliaries, design for energy efficiency, use of renewable feedstock, avoidance of derivatives, use of catalysis, design for biodegradation, real-time pollution prevention, and safer chemistry for accidental prevention. So whenever we are talking about sustainable manufacturing, design for sustainability, these 12 principles of green chemistry should be kept in mind. The sustainable technology, if we talk about the small businesses or sustainable small businesses, few things we should keep in the mind. The again, time and again, the same thing: reduction consumption of energy, water, and other natural resources. And it should reduce the emission of hazardous substances. Second, using or producing recycled and recyclable materials, increasing the durability of the product and minimizing packaging through effective design. So design in a way, sustainable design, whether it should focus on reduce, reuse, and recycle. Then training and encouraging staff to look for additional ways to reduce the company's environmental footprint. We all need to be conscious about the environmental footprint, whether it is any product, whether it is any technology, whether it is any design, or whether it is any process. Then joining using green energy, renewable energy, whether it is power electricity supplier or any energy efficient lighting. Then joining or starting a local green business club that can help local firm assess conservation grants, expertise for reducing wastewater use and energy, and considering there are different, like now we are doing it that the because of we are forced to do it because of this lockdown. Now most of the meeting are going virtual, most of the thing are in a not in a face to face manner, so it is reducing the environment, it is improving the environment because it is reducing the travel expenses, it is reducing the amount of fossil fuel we are using for our traveling, or any other many ways it is improving. So small business also, wherever it is possible, we should use the technology where we can use the virtual platform to discuss our ideas, to discuss our products, so that the traveling, physical traveling can be reduced, and establishing the environmental management system with an objective and procedure for evaluating progress, minimizing negative impacts, and transferring good practice. So, to conclude this session, I would like to say that in this session, we are talking about the sustainable technology. Sustainable technologies are the technologies which are eco-friendly technology, which are green technology, which are the technology where a life cycle assessment has been taken care of from cradle to cradle approach, from its beginning to its disposal, from its all aspects are taken care of. It should be an environmental friendly technology. It should reduce the, it should have less environmental footprint, whether it is in terms of carbon footprint, water footprint, energy footprint, use of renewable resources, or use of raw material as far as hazards to environment is concerned, pollution is concerned, energy requirement is concerned. So in a way, it should, keeping in mind the all the agendas of sustainable, all the sustainable development goals, main agenda when we talk about the well-being of everyone, when we talk about the prosperity of each and every individual, when we talk about the environmental sustainability, or all the three pillars, it should take care of each and every aspect of sustainability, sustainable development goal, and it should be for the well-being of the human, for the well-being, where how the well-being of the human can be ascertained. It can be ascertained when the environmental health is taken care of, when all the environment is for the consumer is good, for everyone stakeholder is good. So sustainable technology, by providing all the economic or what you say growth aspect, it should take care of the environment. So this is for today, sustainable technology.